It's the JT Cho Show!
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the JT Show. I'm your host, JT. Today is Saturday, February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day, 2020. And I got inspiration for this episode, which is, again, numero 18. Got inspiration to do a podcast about something that I like to do, that tons of people like to do, and that's playing pickup basketball. And I noticed something today that I kind of want to bring up to the audience, which is y'all, and see how it is where y'all play. But we'll start with my basketball career. I didn't play in middle school, but I always played like 21 with my friends, and me and my buddy Earl would play against my brother and my dad until we got into a certain height where we outgrew them both, and we're both 6'2.5", 3, 6'3" and we were weighing like $195, 200 pounds at the time, like coming out of high school as seniors, and they stopped playing with us like our junior year because we got bigger than them. But I've always played tons of pickup basketball. My freshman year, I made the team, and I got pulled because of my grades, which is like, at the time as the kid, you're like, I hate you. You're like Anakin Skywalker when he talks to Kenobi. I hate you. But you don't really understand where that hatred's coming from, and it makes you kind of realize that, grades are important, and I can't slack off in school, and, that's a parent's decision to say, hey, sorry, kiddo, you're not trying hard enough, and we're pulling you off the team. So I don't resent them for it. I learned my lesson. I didn't get worse than a C. I mean, I think I got like 1 C for the rest, but I got mostly B's and A's. I just never applied myself. Didn't really find school that fascinating for most subjects and areas. But so then my sophomore year, I played behind Earl, and so how it would go is Earl would play center. We had a coach at the time who wasn't very developmental for position coaching, but he was making sure that you were going to be what's a good word for it? He made sure that you're going to be conditioned. You're going to have the endurance for 4 quarters. He always used to say, hustle beats talent when talent does a hustle, but sometimes when talent hustles, you're like, then what do you do? Like, LeBron James is running full court. Like, he's playing defense and offense today. What do you want us to do about it? But what would happen is Earl would go in, he'd start, and then as soon as he got 2 fouls in the first half, I would go in, and then I would play. And then he would either wait till he got 2 quick fouls, or if he would foul out, and then I would play. So I got playing time behind somebody. I wasn't very good. I was just I went from very short to very tall, and I was gangly still, and I'm playing center, and I'm uncoordinated, and I'm not very good. So I played summer basketball all of those seasons, and then I was playing for the varsity, but then they asked if I wanted to play JV because they had 4 centers playing on the team, and I was only a center. And he's like, you can either sit the bench or you can play JV. And it took a coach. His name's Larry Shear. He developed me into a much better dribbler, a much better player overall awareness, passer. All the tough inbound passes and stuff like that, I'd be throwing them in on the full court presses and traps, and just because I'm not going to throw a weak pass, but I'm also not going to hurl it at my teammates. But he made me a much better passer. He took me from a 5 position, and now I can play the 3 and 4, and then from playing hoops and dribbling a bunch. I mean, essentially, I'm not Magic Johnson where I'm playing power guard. I'm not 6'3" driving the lane and dunking it because I'm huge. 6'2" is like an average point guard height, if not way taller, in the NBA. And I realized that, and I like the dribble. So these days I try to play the 2 position, the 3 or the 4, but we'll get to that in a second. So I played JV for a year, got much better, started my senior year, and then halfway through it, they realized I was a better 6 man, which by statistics I was. So I started playing 6 man and um, had a good time. Our basketball team wasn't anything special to where we were so talented that we were winning games, but we won some good close games. We lost some bad games, but overall, the senior year was the best one. Um, and then we enter community college basketball, and I was trying out for the team. Uh, Basically, if I would have made it, I would have, because they had a coach at the time that we were all trying out for, and then I made a couple more cuts and started going to more open tryouts, and then they got a new coach. So I knew like I wasn't ever good enough to play essentially, so I kind of just stopped showing up to all the practices that they were having because I was just like, well, I'm not that good. I'd rather just hang out and play rec sports with my friends than focus on school. So, not that I'm saying I have so much talent that I should have played community college basketball, but I'm saying I knew my skill level and I saw the people and the talent that were much better than me. Shout out to Nick Minerath, Reggie Johnson at the time too. He was playing, but at those practices, Nick would just he plays professional basketball overseas, and he would I've never seen someone dunk the ball so hard. Like you could oop it to him, and it's great. But when you're like cutting and someone oops it to him and he dunks, even though you're on his team, and he just dunks right on top of you and just slams it, you're just like, well, I thought the backboard was coming down because he would just yam it. And whenever I'd go play, practice or pickup at the courts, he'd always just be there in the gym shooting like 400 shots a day. Just like, yeah, just getting my numbers in today, and he's just always grinding, and he's still grinding. I always watch his Insta, and he throws his highlights on. He's still shooting those perimeter arcs shots and dunking on people and hitting his alley oops and his cutters. So it's pretty cool to know somebody on that level who's pretty good at basketball. So we get to community college, and my freshman year, we play in a league. I play in a church league as well. And to backtrack a little bit, it was the senior game, was the last home game of the year, and our coach pulled us aside. And he was just like, "Hey, basketball will never be the same." He's like, "This is unless you're playing college or professional, like high school basketball, the way it's officiated, you'll never get that experience, no matter no matter what rec league you play in. Like if you have, when you have referees in your rec league, a lot of them are terrible, and there's nothing you can do about it. They're not really certified. They're just kind of the refs for that league, and they choose who they want to officiate those leagues. But it's really true." And then he pulled just 3 of us aside, and he was like, "Hey, you guys didn't miss a practice at all. I didn't skip school, so I want to thank you guys for being here for all 20 games and every single practice and stuff like that." So that was kind of cool that he noticed that. But church league basketball was, we played. It wasn't very churchy for a church league. It was very. A lot of people swore, had that weird vibe to it with small towns who are corrupt, but it was like this guy who was a pastor and his son played in the league, but sometimes the old man played on his son's team, which was like the best team, and they wore like red and black, I think. And so the refs would be very favorable calling 4 calls for that team, and we were just like, these are clearly not fouls. Like if I foul you, cool, like that's a foul. But when I'm driving the lane and I'm just getting whopped and nothing, but then I look at him the wrong way and I'm getting a technical foul, or something crazy, Like it was so annoying. It I remember me and Earl. I played a lot of basketball with Earl. We were playing. Um, there'd be a game where he'd get 30 and I get 10, and then like we both get 15. And it was about our third or fourth game of the season where we first played together, and we just lost like another game. And he's like, "Dude, what is it gonna take for us to win a game?" And I was like, we're gonna have to drop 20 apiece." So we ended up together dropping 46 points the next game. The other team only scored 38, and at the end of the day, the score was like 59 to like 38. So Earl and I outscored the entire other team together, and then the rest of our team scored like 16 points. And it's not like we were hogging the ball all the time together. It's just you know usually teams only have one big man, so we would switch off, and we would also if the big man follows him out, then I can pick and roll to the basket. The big man comes and guards me, and then there's the automatic switch. Uh, Anyways, you get to Central. My senior year, still playing rec league. Played on a team called Miami Hate because we hated Miami. We made the jerseys look like the logo looked like Miami Heat, but it said Miami Hate. Uh, it was fun. I wore goggles. I got into goggles for a while. I wore basketball goggles because I thought they were hilarious. I started playing racquetball at the same time, so I started wearing those goggles. I'm like, I'm just gonna wear these for basketball and be a weirdo. So that's what I did. I just became a weirdo. Uh, it was fun. Those leagues were like call your own fouls, and had a lot of fun there. And uh, transition, I moved to the Upper Peninsula for a while. I played in a couple tourneys. Shot at the college up there a couple times. We had to pay, so it's $3. I don't want to pay that just to shoot. I'll pay to run some courts. I'll pay $1 at a time. We also played pickup. There's this church that built a gym in the middle of a campsite, and it's $1. It was like $1 on Wednesdays, and we used to run that. We used to run that all the time, and twice my squad of either 4 or 5 didn't lose once. It was great. Just we kept running that. Like you go to play basketball for 2 hours, and sometimes your team's sitting for like 45 minutes. And this specific time, I don't know what it was, but everyone was clicking on games that we were really tired. We were shooting well, but it's always good to have those days where you're just smoking it, you're killing it. There's days where you go to play basketball and you can't even make a layup, so you're just passing the whole time. I played pickup this morning, but we'll get to that as well. So we get after playing in the Upper Peninsula for a little bit. Join the Air Force. One good thing about the Air Force, everyone's trying to play pickup basketball. Everyone thinks that they're about to break it into the NBA. Cannon had a solid. They had a solid noon ball. They had some really good players. They had a semi decent base team. Nothing special, but they were still better than I was at most of everything that they did. They had a lot of people to shoot the 3-pointers, which I mean, a lot of people do that these days. But I had enough people in we played squadron ball, and we just played pickup hoops all the time. And then sometimes, because we were, our schedules were 12 hours on midnight, so you're up at 2. And sometimes we could just text a whole bunch of people and be like, oh, hey, man, we just got 4s or 5s up at the gym at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And, everyone's playing basketball, so why not? So, I played all the time in the Air Force. When I was deployed, we got into weightlifting. When you deploy, by the way, let me interject. If you never did deployed, it's just about the job, okay? And you eat, you sleep, you work out, you poop, you repeat, okay? That's it. Just, when's my next meal? When's my shift over? When's the workout over? When's this poop over? And then I'm going to sleep. And then you do that for how many days you're out there, because there's not very many distractions. It's usually, somewhere where you're not getting cell phone service everywhere, so you're not always on your phone. You can't have your phone all the time either. And so we started playing basketball there. I remember there's one kid on that deployment who uh, started telling everybody that he was being scouted before the military by D1, whatever. And I was just like, no, you weren't. Like, I understand. I've seen stories where people have have not gone to the NFL when being drafted, and they want to serve their country and they do their years, and there's people who could have played college, whatever, and they join the service as well, and that's great on them. But for 90, I'm going to say 99% of all high school athletes that want to be a pro, if there's a real D1 program, like he wouldn't say specifically who it was, but he said there's a D1 program that was checking them out, and I was like, I've seen you play basketball, dude. And I was like, if I'm whopping you, and I like played, I practiced with the community college basketball team a few times. Like, if I'm whopping on you, you're not D1 material. I mean, I'm not like a Mario boss. If I was a Mario boss, I'd be like levels 1 or 2. I'd be just after high school. Like, for you to make it to the NBA, you've got to beat this ginger. I'm not even that good to be like a stepping stone. But I'm just saying, if I'm putting up numbers against you, and I'm hitting nasty passes against you, and like shutting you down, and um, all this other like I I even threw it between his legs. I'm not like again. I don't want to brag. I know this. I'm just talking about pickup basketball here and things that happen. I've had really bad games. I've had games where I don't even want to play because I can't even shoot, and I played with people that are much better than me. But sometimes I'm on fire, and today was one of them. But yeah, we played for a while though. We were playing like every day after work, and everyone was coming. And you work with tons and like 60 to 80 guys, and then you got other squads showing up, and you're running full court because there's the wood court. There's only one wood court where we were at, and then there's the other material for the courts, which wasn't as good. But 90% of and then the real wooden courts had the real rims, and then the other one had weird rims. So we specifically played on the wood court. But sometimes you're like, if you lose once, it's over. Like, oh, if you lose once, let's just go work out. So we were running like all the time. That killed a bunch of time. Was bring your own basketball. But yeah, it was so much fun. So even my work, we set up after work. We played outdoor basketball in the summer, but I'm honestly, I'm not a huge fan. I'll play at the outdoor courts, but I like a nice wooden 5-on-5 court. I like running fours too on the half courts. I think that's like my favorite now at this age. Um, and then so I haven't really shot or played at all. So here's what I noticed this morning that's a lot different. Um, so the squads that I've never met them before. It was 6:30 in the morning, so I drove up last night to a buddy's house, and we went to play 5-on-5 basketball. And these guys, you could tell it's one of those. Usually they have two courts going, so they got 20 people playing at all times, and they play by twos and threes, and they go to 24 straight up. And uh, it's fun, and these teams know each other, and they know who's good, and they work well together by setting back screens. So many screens. The guy that I was guarding today, I knew he was a good shooter because I kept getting screened over and over. And oh man, they were so petty screens. They were moving screens and like, a little grabby action, but I was just like, one, he only made like 2 shots on me, which was great. If he would have hit like, I'd say he shot 20 times today and hit like maybe 2 or 3. But if he would have hit at least 10 of those shots, we would have lost half those games. And I was giving him a step, and one time I left him wide open and he whopped it, and one time I contested him and he whopped it. But most of the time I'd clap or like sometimes you go for the block, but you also like do this weird thing with your other hand, so it looks like you're gonna foul. It's like one of those optical illusions. Like sometimes you like look like you're about to tackle them, but you're not. But sometimes that throws them off, or like I like to distract with a clap, or sometimes I'll go like that, really like I'm about to clap, and then I don't, and they're just kind of like, this guy is so crazy. But and the good thing is, down low, by the way, I was not doing very well. But my on the I just stayed in the arc. I was hitting wide open shots. Like he was giving me space because he was just like, this kid sucks. But I was knocking him down. I probably went 7 for 9. I'm gonna say. I might have shot a little bit more than that. Inside, though, my pump fakes work. I like the pump fake a lot. Like one of them, I went up for the layup, and then I just like went up with the ball, stopped completely. They jumped. I do a weird shot where if I get a rebound, I won't even like jump again because everyone's expecting to jump. I'll just throw it up there real quick, and I was having a good game though. Like I wouldn't shoot it all the time. I was watching the team that I was playing on. They were very explosive, very fast. I played with some good people today. But it's one of my favorite feelings is when you go into a brand new place that you've never balled before and you destroy it. It's happened to me before, and it's kind of because I have this complexion and I have red hair, and people look at me and they're like, "Look at this goofy ginger-looking kid," and like, there's no way he's gonna be good. And then they like don't show me any respect, and I'll just like, okay, I'll kind of like learn what this guy's doing, and oh, he's turning around like when they shoot. Well, I'm just gonna run behind him and get the easy rebound, or um, I try to look at who's guarding me and expose his weaknesses. I'm not the best post player, but I will work on my post game. Again, I like to throw a lot of pump fakes down low, a lot of pivot shots, a lot of turnaround shots. I'm not Kobe Bryant, but one thing that sucks about being my height is when I'm six, like 6'2.5", 6'3". And when you play basketball at our height and you're playing with a bunch of, like, you got a guy who's 5'11", you got another guy who's 6 foot, but you might be the tallest guy by an inch, and you're like, oh yeah, you're guarding the big man. And the whole game, they're just sitting out there, like they're not even like involving you in the passing scheme or looking at your picks or realizing that you're picking and rolling, and he's keeping his head down. And it's rough when you're not in the league. I'm almost 30 years old, people, and it's rough when you're the big man and you just get pounded over and over, sometimes by like a big hairy old dude. Like sometimes it sucks being the big man, and it sucks playing the five. It sucks playing the five on pickup basketball, and a lot more three pointers are being shot today than when I started playing pickup basketball. And it's because Steph Curry's in the league, and they're changing the way that, why score 2 points when you can guarantee three, baby? We shot a lot of threes today. But it sucks when and then like they don't give you the ball. And it's not about give me the ball so I can score. It sucks when you're just grinding with this dude, and then you got to go play defense on him, and no one's throwing you help side defense, and you're just getting pounded down there, and you're like, I'm not even getting paid for this. Like I woke up at 6:30 to take this physical abuse. So to me, pickup basketball has kind of gotten away from the last times I've been playing it, from pick and rolls and going to the hoop with a big man, or pick and roll, or it now a lot of it for pickup now is pick a man who picks a man to get open for a three-pointer. And everybody on the team that we were playing, they weren't hitting very often, but they were shooting a lot of three. They were like, when I evaluate the Michigan Wolverines playing basketball, they're a team that lives or dies by the three-pointer. Look at their games where they lose, and look at how many threes they took and how many 3 points they miss. They're a three-point team. They were a three-point team with Beeline, and they're still a three-point team with Howard. They live or die by the three, and that's how pickup basketball, I think, is going. Because, my team was taking a bunch of threes, but what I was doing is my guy, someone would shoot a three, he would turn around, I'd go down low, there'd be two defenders, one extra person on offense still on my team, and he's getting boxed out. So I see us, for instance, Earl. I saw Earl boxing this dude out on the entire left side of the hoop if you're looking at the basket. So I said, okay, the left side's locked down because I know Earl's going to get this rebound over me. There's a guy on the right side of their team who's just staring at the basketball hoop without checking if anybody's coming behind him. So I just stood a step and a half behind him. And when the rebound came over the middle, I was just right there to grab it and put it right back up. I didn't bring it down. Didn't want to bring it down. So I got a couple tip balls today where I just just tipped it back up, and it was because my guy wasn't boxing me out, which allowed me to sneak my way down and get easy uncontested. I wasn't going up against other people and coming down with crazy offensive boards. I was literally just, hey, thanks. Like, thanks for not turning around. It was pretty fun. And then there's a lot more communication these days too. Like a lot of the pickup basketball. If you know a team, you know how each other play. A good basketball team will, a good pickup basketball team, they will communicate. We were switching, we were fighting, we were hedging. There's double picks going on. People were always saying, your man, my man, your man. That's a great team, by the way. If you can play pickup basketball with a bunch of randos and you're talking like that, you're going to have a good time. But when everyone's quiet and everyone's just jacking a three when you take it on the court, you're going to have a bad time, okay? I remember specifically today, because I was hitting. I hit a couple shots today, and I dribbled it, and it was a 3-on-2 fast break. And a lot of the times they would just, pull up another three. So I stopped at the line, and then I looked at the basket. So the guy who was at the free throw line goes, oh, shoot, he's going to shoot a three. I'm going to get the rebound. And as soon as he turned around, I dribbled right behind him. He realized that, hey, where's the shot? Looks and sees me, grabs the arm. It's a foul because, who wants to give up an easy, uncontested layup? We took the ball out, whatever. Who cares? But you realize when people are taking a lot of threes, you can really sell that perimeter. You can really sell that perimeter shot, have them bite on it, and then usually you have an easy break because everyone's it's like a passing drill where everyone's on the perimeter, and you're, instead of the defense playing how they're supposed to, how if the ball's 2 passes away, you should, it's how you work that court. For instance, I've had 2 years of coaching basketball experience. I took advanced theories and strategies for basketball coaching for football and basketball for my master's degree. But this simple passing drill, if you've got your arc, right, and where your three-point line's at, and then you put 1 man at the center, 2 on the, I'm going to say the side tops, and then 2 on the baseline. So you know what I'm saying. So you got your half circle, you've got 1 guy up top, 2 right here, and 2 down here. Okay, you're tracking. So basically, when the ball's at the top, the 2 passes next to them are 1 pass away, so they're playing about they should have their hand almost touching the man on offense. The people down low should be 2 passes away, so they might be a couple steps towards the basket, but to the baseline. Okay, never turn your back on your defender, but they should be in an area where they're a couple steps away from their man on offense, to where they can come out and do help side defense if need be, but still have the ball. If the ball gets passed to the right, then the person who passed it now is 1 pass away, and the person in the corner is 1 pass away. Now somebody on the opposite side is 3 passes away, so that's when you come and play help side. And with everybody trying to jack 3-pointers, there wasn't very much help side defense today. So there's a lot of people driving to the hoop for easy one-on-ones, and you've got the side and your dribble. You had some really good people making layups, but right now it's a lot less of having a dominant big man for pickup, and a lot of people are shooting threes. Now, I will say this is not the end of the era for the big man. because we as rec leaguers, okay, are not um, professionals. That's why we play rec league. I'm 29 years old and I play pickup basketball. Okay, this I'm people that get worked up and they're angry. I can see when you get fouled bad and someone like really clubs you, but when people start taking the fun out of it, you're not gonna make a 3 pointer and some agent's gonna walk in and be like, that's what the Pistons have been missing this season. You specifically, hurry up and sign this contract. You got to realize you're just running the court for like 2 hours, man. Like have fun, have a good time. It sucks when you lose, but that's a part of life. Get an L every once in a while, but there's there's no small man teams that can take out a good big man um, for a lot of rec leagues. Because when you have that huge dude, some people, like for instance, 6'5's pretty normal for the NBA, but there ain't a lot of 6'5 guys that you personally know. And people who are 6'5", 6'8", and they're playing center, it sucks. Again, when you're me or another center uh, for the game, when you're 6'2" and you got to guard a dude that's like 6'7" and he's hairy and he's got like 4 kids and like this is the only thing he's got going for him in life. No, I'm just kidding, dude. But what I'm saying is, it sucks when you have to guard him because like he's tearing you up because he's 5 inches taller and he weighs 50 more pounds than you and he's closer to the rim, and on offense you're not getting the ball because he's outplaying you down low, and if you try to pull out they're not giving you the ball on the perimeter. And one of the reasons you should give the man the ball on the perimeter, by the way, the big man, is there's a dude that's 6'7" and he's in the paint, nothing's getting in the paint, period. Okay, I'm not, and I'll work a couple big man moves and do a couple reverse layups and try to get him on some pump fakes here and there. But overall, if you can remove that big man from that center position, they're not running a 2-3 defense, like unless they play with each other every week and they know exactly. I mean, like there's people that are basketball savvy that understand a 2-3 defense, but a lot of the time people just understand man to man, and you hardly see pickup basketball with 2-3 defenses. It's not really an unwritten rule. It's just people would rather play man and say who sucks, and who's the Richard Sherman and who's the Darrelle Revis. Hopefully, because Revis can do what Revis can do what Sherman can, but Sherman can't do what Revis can. But yeah, Darrelle Revis, man to man, he'll take your best guy, and that's another thing too that sucks. I'm noticing when there's a really good guy, and either you have to guard the best person, so he's just better than you, and there's nothing you can really do about it, and that's the reason why you lose. That's probably one of the worst feelings in pickup basketball. What I'm saying is, people play man to man, so when they're picking teams or what have you, when you call dibs, they will base this guy can't play defense. We don't want him on our team. You know what I'm saying? Some of my experiences playing pickup, I do hate dibs sometimes because you ask who's got next and someone just goes, I do, and they might not even have it. Like no one might have called it, and then you just showed up, so they were like, oh shoot, there's more people here to play. I'm going to pretend like I have dibs, and someone's going to go, well, I had it after him, so now you're waiting 3 games to play pickup basketball. That's like the worst. I also hate when you have people who are super tryhards to where they're not that they're calling travels, but they're taking it to the rim and they're trying to make NBA calls and like, oh, he touched me. Like a lot of the times, if there's a little bit of contact, I'm not calling a foul in pickup. If it's a hard foul or you're intentionally holding my arm, if there's a little bit of contact here and there, I don't really call it. A lot of the times when I play the other team, I called one today, but it was the clear one where the guy grabbed my arm after I drove past him because no easy layups. But most of the time they'll give it's call your own fouls, but they'll be like, "Nah, I got that foul," and it's hard because there's some people that go up and they get blinked at, and they're like, "Oh, I felt the wind from his blinking, and I need to call the foul because I missed the shot." It's the worst. Don't call and one. Call a foul. Respect it. If it's automatic, if it's just like no, that's, what. Just respect the calls overall. If there's things to be said about it, then discuss it after the game because you're waiting for the next squad to get on the court. But when it comes to fouls, respect the call, but like don't call a foul. Don't not call a foul and miss the shot and then try to call the foul. So you're either calling foul or you're taking it to the hoop and you're gonna make it with a little bit of contact. But that's my personal opinion on how fouls should go for pickup basketball. Um, Balls are important. I hate when someone brings like a slippery ball when it has like no grip to it. I had a FIBA ball for a while that I played with. I bought it overseas, but when it gets like wet, like from sweat, it gets real slick. I don't know why. Maybe it was probably like an imitation FIBA, but uh, we played with like a classic men's ball, um, like a high school ball. So it was nice. It was nice to play basketball with a nice ball when you're playing pickup because everyone knows that somehow everyone had this at least one of the same basketballs that was just the worst to shoot, made your hands like all like I don't know, like it would almost rub off on your hands because they would like it would have like the little grips on it and I don't know, it just like made your hands super dirty for no reason. But pickup balls still it's still fun. I had a great time. I wanted I so I impeded on my friends for Valentine's Day. They told me they didn't celebrate it, and what happened was I was trying to set it up to where I was like, hey, my buddy wants to play. Uh, Pick up basketball with me, but he lives an hour and a half away, and it's at 6:30 in the morning. So what I did is I went through his chain of command. So I talked to his wife first. And I said, "Hey, you guys doing anything this Friday or Saturday? Because I want to hang out." And then I was like, "Hey, I'll make you guys dinner because I like doing stuff like that." And so I made a lasagna and brought it with me. But halfway through the week, she's like, "Yeah, we don't do anything for Valentine's Day anyways." And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm impeding on your Valentine's Day. You know what? We'll do this another time." She's like, "No, no, you're good." So I hung out with my friends for Valentine's Day. So I'm a loser. Uh, it was fun. We had a good time. Played some golf on the old Xbox and hung out Friday night. I brought the puppers with me. They had a good time. They were good doggos. I'm gonna give them a peanut butter bone tomorrow. Then we played the pickup this morning, and it was great. It was like it's so like I've already repeated myself, but it's the best feeling. And then people were like, "Hey, it was nice to meet you." The one guy who showed up because I'd say total there was like 13, maybe 14 people there total, or maybe just 12. And two people, yeah, there was 12 people total, and two people left because they had other things to do. So we were running the entire time. Usually they have 20. But one guy was like, I don't know where you came from, but thanks for hooping, man. And I was like, oh, I came with this guy. Like, I drove almost 2 hours for this. Like 2 hours this morning. I was like, no, like I came up last night, so I could only have to drive 15 minutes. I'll play basketball at 6:30 in the morning, but I ain't driving more than a half an hour to 45 minutes. Maybe up to an hour, but not an hour and a half to 2 hours. But you're my age. Where are you going to run fives anymore? Uh, I'll go up to the park and shoot outside every once in a while. But again, I hate outdoor basketball. I don't hate it. Still a game, and you can get some fours running and stuff. But I would rather run on the inside. I would rather run inside of a gym than run outside. That's just my preference. Uh, Other things that I notice when you play pickup, uh, I do not like teams that don't uh, cut correctly to the point where they're clogging the lane or they're not setting up screens or picks or they're not utilizing on offense. They're just all standing there waiting to get the ball so they can shoot it. Always be moving on offense. If the dribbler picks up his ball, keep moving. Unless you're wide open underneath the basket and you're standing there waving your arms, that's how I scored the last point. Because again, my defender looked the other way. I walked down to the baseline, and I was just like, I wanted to be like, "Hey, it's me," but I didn't say anything. So I just kept my hand. I was just like, hey, I'm right here. Like put my hands up, and I got the basket. A little bit of a contest, but banked it. I call the bank shot too. That's the best bank. Uh, but don't stop moving on offense when you play pickup basketball because it's very stale, and you guys should always be moving. And you're out there for physical exercise. It was so much fun. That's one of the things too. Like, been trying to go to the gym more and more. I'm going to the gym tomorrow morning, but running fives for 2 hours, I'm not going to the gym after that. Like, because I just started incorporating the gym, and I'm already a little beat up. I woke up, I had to roll my back out. I'm an old man, but overall, running fives for 2 hours was great exercise because you're exploding sometimes on offense, and you're catching your breath on your, sometimes when your offense is walking up the court slowly, you catch that quick breather, a chug of Gatorade in between games. It's you gotta stay hydrated, but all in all, uh, it's a good workout, and it's playing basketball. Now, 3-on-3 tournaments, uh, I do enjoy. We've made it to the semifinals one year at Jonesville Riverfest, which is my favorite around here for 3-on-3 tournaments because that's my high school. Hopefully, I'll play this year, but 3-on-3s it's different from pickup because everybody's pulling up with the best squad because they want to win. When in pickup, yeah, you still want to win, but you're just there to run basketball for as long as you can and win. 3-on-3's more of a strategy game to where you're saying how can we pick our best three and outplay these best three. And a lot of the times you're gonna get it might get a little chippy. It depends what school or who's hosting it or how it's officiated or how it's watched because 3-on-3 tournaments with all that old man testosterone and want to be high school athletes like myself. I don't really get hot-headed though, but you get people who can't really control their emotions. I don't understand. Did you not understand sportsmanship when you were in regular sports, or did you not play regular sports but now you're playing basketball and you've got no sportsmanship? I don't understand how people get so mad. Like, I understand when I'm a little upset, or if it's getting chippy and you're getting fouled and they're wailing on you down low or they're just talking smack. I've gotten a little angry here and there, but the people who want to fight, like, come on, man, we're not here for that. We're just here to play some pickup. So I do like 3-on-3 tournaments, but usually it's $50 and yeah, you're guaranteed 3 games, but I would rather play basketball every week for $1 or $2 to play for up to 2 hours than to pay $50 for a guaranteed 3 games for 3-on-3 basketball. League basketball, when you're my age, it's all based on how the officials officiate it and the skill level of those around you. If I'm having a bad day, if I can't shoot, I just try to inbound the basketball. I'll just I'll check it up, I'll inbound it, and I'll pass it. And I'm basically just passing it because there's been days where they're like, "Oh, just keep shooting," and I was like, "Nah, I don't have it in me. I can't do it." Some things happened to me today. There's one guy on the other team, and he was pretty good. He was really sneaky. Like, if you weren't paying attention, he could he could come behind you and hit the ball out. But I made a 3-pointer, and then so I got the ball again on the very next drive, and I was dribbling to my left, around a pick, because I had a pick left. So I dribbled one to the right, went to the left, caught my man. So I'm coming around the top. They're not hedging yet. because the first man's already smashed. So I have this nice little, I'd say, foot gap from my own man who's setting the pick, and I see the guy going, shoot it, man, shoot it, and he's on the other team. So I was like, okay, and I just jumped up, like nice squared up with a basket jumper. I hit this 3-pointer, and I just got to go, well, hey, man, someone told me to shoot it, so I'm going to shoot it. And what the funny thing was, I didn't know anybody, like I said, so I wore my, like, I don't have the body for skins, okay? And when you play skins, it's kind of gross because, like, you when you got shirts on, you got a layer in between you, but when a dude's grinding up on you and you're both sweaty, it's like, it's weird. It doesn't bother me for shoulders and stuff, but I don't want your bare chest all over me. It's just like, it's gross. I don't want your sweat, Mark. I don't know if there's a Mark out there that's offended. I don't know, but what I'm saying is, I brought a reversible basketball jersey in case we started going, blouses versus shorts versus blouses, or lights versus darks for colors. Sometimes they do that, but it has the number 14 on it, right? So I'm wearing this basketball practice jersey with the number 14, and they'd be like, "Hey, 14," and they would just be like, "Hey, swing this way, 14," and stuff like that. And they're like, "Hey, man, what's your name?" Because one, I was playing good, and two, they're like, "Hey, man, what's your name?" Because we keep calling you 14. And I was like, "Well, yeah, that's why I brought the jersey, so you could know that I could easily identify with 14." Nothing's worse than, "Hey, gray shirt," "Hey, green shirt," So they're like, "Hey, 14," and they were all nice. It was a fun time for sure, playing with them, but it was, I just love shooting well. It's nothing's better than having somebody not shake their head when you're shooting a 3-point, because there's certain people that are like, "Why are you shooting 3-pointers?" And you're just like, "Dude, it's pick up basketball." I'm making a couple of them here and there, but me coming out of high school, I shot like maybe 2 3-point attempts in high school because I wasn't allowed to, because I wasn't any good. So I just shot a lot of basketballs growing up, since then, and it's for pickup game. I'm not afraid to shoot it. If I'm going horrible, if I miss the first one terribly, I won't probably shoot it for the rest of the game unless it's wide open. But all in all, is my tips. We're gonna wrap this up, but my tips for pickup: always have fun, bring your boys, don't fight, respect the call. Don't be a little baby, and have fun. Again, you're going to just have fun. Okay? It's pickup basketball. Okay? You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to do a podcast. It's Saturday. I want to get some more content out there. Real quick, I know I don't get a lot of viewers, but this Wednesday, we're going to switch subjects. This Wednesday, I'm doing my first open mic night since Texas. I'm doing my first open mic night in like a year and a half in Ann Arbor at the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. It's Wednesday night, starts at 7:30. There's no order, but my name is finally selected. So what I've got to do now is it's working, open mic night is working on new material, but I haven't performed in a minute. So I'm going to use the sandwich effect to where I'm going to put get the crowd going, work on new material, leave the crowd going for the next guy. Hopefully I kill it. I'm not going to record it and put it on like YouTube. I listen to a lot of comedians, and they talk about their process. And again, I don't want something to get out there. I'm not saying things that are just so offensive that I'm just going to ruin my career. But there's some jokes that need to develop. They need to mature. They need to be worked on. And if you put a joke out there that sucks and someone hears that it sucks, it kills it. So my overall goal is, hey, this is the first one. I'll see if anybody gives me feedback. Hopefully, if I can adjust my schedule, I can start working weekends there. And then hopefully by the end of this year, I can open for somebody. I want to do like 15, 20 minutes at least. I know I got it. I write all the time. I did it today. I had a joke, stopped, boom, typed it out on my phone. Needs work, but when it comes, I always have to write it down. Always. If you don't, you forget it. you can miss out on some good material. I don't know if it's good yet, but like I said, it's the start. I'll tell you how it went. I'll probably do a podcast this Thursday because of my schedule, but open mic night, 7:00, 7:30, Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. So if you're coming, let me know. Hit me up on Twitter at JT of Jayville, Venmo JT of Jayville, jtofjayville.com. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening about my pickup basketball experience. Comment, like, subscribe on YouTube. Let me know. Let me know if you want me to talk about something. I'm not running out of subjects here. I want more of an audience, but I want to give someone, some excitement, like, oh, he's talking about this. That's cool. Like, I got to get better at my podcast. It helps me talk, which is what a comedian does, but helps me, process ideas sometimes too. But, thanks for tuning in. Let me know if you tune in. Let me know. I take constructive criticisms. You're going to, just be mean and talk about how ugly I am. Cool, man. I've heard it. Okay. But if you want to give me constructive criticism, go for it. JT of Jayville, all those hashtags. Signing out the JT Show. Thanks for tuning in.